Hello and welcome to video lecture series in political science. Today we are going to start this book. We will discuss chapter 1 titled as Cold War from your textbook Contemporary World Politics of class 12th Political Science. Now for understanding we will divide this chapter into 6 parts. We will begin by general introduction to world politics and about this book. We will try to understand how to understand and learn about various events discussed in this book and contemporary politics. We will learn about Cold War, reasons of Cold War, emergence of two power blocks on the global politics scene and India's standing during the Cold War era. Today we will begin by understanding what is world politics and some things related to Cold War. Now, to start with, let's discuss about the outline of this book briefly and about what important political events we are going to discuss throughout this book. Now, the events that we are going to discuss are collectively or individually, are impacting directly or indirectly the nature of contemporary world politics. Although we will study these events as different chapters, but remember that all these events are related to one another. They are either a cause or an effect of the other event or a consequence of the other event. These events can also be seen as an actor or a factor in determining the matrix of the present day world politics. And also remember one thing, that while we study these events, you must look for 5 important dimensions of each of these events. What are these dimensions? These are what, why, how, who and when. What do we mean by all these dimensions? This means that while discussing and learning about any event, you should look for what had happened, when and where did it happen, why did it happen, and it makes our understanding complete in the sense that whom did it affect? Who were the significant players or actors that shaped this event? What were the outcomes of this event and how did these outcomes affect whomsoever they affected. For example, in chapter 1 we will discuss about Cold War. So when you learn about Cold War through these lectures, try to take down notes regarding these basic questions like what was Cold War, when and where did it happen, who was involved in the Cold War, who were affected by it and how were they affected by Cold War. After discussing this chapter, we will in the end understand Cold War according to these questions raised or dimensions of what, when, how, where and when. Now, learning social sciences, particularly political science and history, becomes easy when you refer to maps, graphics and illustrations. These visuals help you to remember places and many of the dimensions of what, where, when, how, etc. In political science particularly, looking at the map helps you. How? It helps you to identify the geographical location of a particular nation. If we say that US enjoyed security from any external threat because of its geography, then maps help you to understand this statement better. When we say who got affected by a particular event in a given country, then we usually talk about the neighboring countries. Now, there also map helps you to identify which are the neighboring countries. We will keep these lectures very interactive and make use of pictures, maps and illustrations to make our learning interesting and easy. Let's understand this book also. Let's understand what do we mean by contemporary world politics. You have studied political science in class 11th, in which you have discussed various aspects of politics like politics in India, democracy, Indian constitution, political theory, Panchayati Raj, secularization, freedom, equality and various other concepts. But now you are going to learn about world politics. What do we mean by world politics? Contemporary world politics particularly takes you beyond the scope of politics within a given nation or within a boundary of a given nation. It enlarges the scope of politics by analyzing it at world stage. Now, what do we mean by analyzing politics at the global stage? At times, two concepts such as international politics or international relations and world politics are used interchangeably. That means one is used against the other. But there is a small difference between the two. Let us understand this difference. In international relations or international politics, we study the relationship between governments of different countries, two or more countries. What is the nature of interaction between these two governments, their foreign policies and mutual relations. But within a nation, there are important links between government, civil society, non-governmental organizations and ordinary people. These links and connections influence domestic as well as international politics of any given country. So, to understand the dynamics of the world, it is important to understand what happens within the nation and also in between the nation, and how along with government other actors and factors are important part of this dynamics or whole matrix. In simple words or in other words, world politics means what happens within the country that determines the nature of politics at the large scale. For example, if we talk of the Cold War, it deals with the developments within the certain countries but impacted the politics of the entire globe or entire world. This book is going to talk about the present events, mostly from the second half of the 20th century. You have studied about the events of world politics in the 19th and early 20th century in your history textbooks. Here in this textbook, we are going to focus on events since the end of the Second World War, or to be more precise, Cold War, because it is impossible to understand the nature of contemporary politics without understanding Cold War and its impact on world politics till date. The other topics which are related to Cold War and are part of this book are NAM, that is non-alignment movement, notion of hegemony, the United Nations, international organizations, human security and globalization, etc. All these events, institutions and organizations have a significant role to play in making and shaping of the world politics. Although contemporary nature of politics is a consequence of centuries of happenings, but we will focus on the period and events on institutions and organizations from Second World War onwards. Now, the United States remained outside the Second World War for more than 2 years. But the attack on Pearl Harbor led to the entry of United States into the war. The attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii was a military strike by the Imperial Japanese Navy against the United States naval base at Pearl Harbor. The strike was conducted on 7th of December 1941, and the Japanese destroyed almost 20 American naval vessels, the big one, 8 large battleships and around 200 airplanes. In this strike, more than 2,000 American soldiers and sailors died. Almost 1,000 were wounded. The very next day after the attack, then President Franklin D. Roosevelt asked Congress to declare a war on Japan. 3 days later, allies of the Japan, namely Germany and Italy, the fascists, they also declared a war on the United States, and then again the Congress reciprocated by calling its allies together. More than 2 years after into the conflict or after the World War, America had finally joined World War II with its allies, that is France and UK. The picture shows US battleships USS West Virginia after the attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii on 7th of December 1941. The Second World War ended when the US dropped atomic bomb on the city of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945 in Japan. Now, this map of Japan helps you to identify location of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Both are located towards the southern part of the island of Japan. And what you see in the picture now is a post-war little boy model of the atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima on 6th of August 1945. This bomb was dropped on Hiroshima by the US, that is the nuclear weapon, and the other replica is of the Fat Man. This is the name of the bomb that was detonated over Nagasaki on 9th August 1945. Now look at these two pictures, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These are the pictures of mushroom cloud that was formed after the nuclear bombs were dropped on the cities by the US in 1945. And this is one of the picture of devastation carried out by the nuclear attack. And this devastation actually led to the surrender of Japan in Second World War. It is said in the academic circles that the US knew that Japan was about to surrender in the Second World War, and the decision to drop atomic bombs on Japan was unnecessary. The critics argue that US did so. It dropped the atomic bombs on Japan because it intended to demonstrate its strength to Russia and also wanted to stop Soviet Union from making political and military gains in Asia. On the other hand, the supporters of the US action of dropping bombs on Japan argue that it was necessary to end the war quickly and to prevent loss of lives of allied powers, which involved France and UK. Now, the issue is still debated even after more than 6 decades of end of World War II, that was this devastation necessary. But one of the important consequences of the end of the war was the rise of two new powers on the world politics scene. Europe was devastated by war, Japan was attacked, the countries in Africa and Asia were struggling for their freedom. At this time, the US and the Soviet Union emerged as the greatest power. They had the ability to influence politics and economic relations all over the world, all over the globe. The next 3 decades, that is almost 30 years, 30 to 35 years after the Second World War, narrate a story of struggle between two superpowers. And this struggle, this era is called as Cold War. Now let's understand what is this Cold War. You might have heard this concept somewhere in your studies before, but let's elaborate it now. Cold War is the name given to the strained or uneasy, tense relationship that developed between the United States and the USSR after the Second World War. USSR is Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Cold War was a clash of different ideologies. This was basically a clash of capitalism and communism, where both US and the USSR adopted their respective positions. US advocating capitalism and USSR advocating communism. Now, this clash of ideology forms the basis of power struggle between the two superpowers at the international level, where both these sides attempted to dominate and exploit every opportunity to attract smaller nations within their ambit or within their umbrella. Russia dominated Eastern Europe, and the US had close relationship with the countries of the Western Europe. Now, you may ask, what was the content of the ideology that these countries were advocating? The US bloc was advocating for capitalist form of market economy. It advocated for democratic form of government, free elections, freedom of media, liberty of individuals, and freedom of other institutions in society. The USSR, on the other hand, was advocating for communist form of economic organization and political structure, where the decisions regarding the economy are centrally planned or taken. Society is regimented or strictly controlled. There is censorship on media, the government is authoritative in nature, and the institutions are regulated. So, both the US and the USSR respectively fought for influencing the other nations to align with their respective interest, that is, to follow capitalist or communist ideology. Both the rival superpowers were in possession of nuclear weapons, and they were capable of inflicting or causing massive destruction to each other. But Cold War was rooted in the mutual understanding that use of nuclear bomb or atom bombs is too heavy a price to pay for any country, in fact for both of them. So, a full-fledged war between the two is unlikely to happen. However, at one point of time in history, the tension was almost about to turn into a full-fledged war. This event in history is known as Cuban Missile Crisis. The Cuban Missile Crisis is one of the events during the Cold War that could have actually resulted in a full-blown war or might have led to Third World War. But fortunately, it was avoided by both of them. We'll discuss about the Cuban Missile Crisis in the next part of this chapter. To conclude, let's summarize what we discussed in this episode. In this episode, we have started with introduction to this book, Contemporary World Politics. We discussed what is meant by world politics and how world politics is different from international relations or international politics. We also discussed briefly about some of the learning techniques to understand political science better by using maps, visuals and graphics and illustrations. We then came on to understanding of the background of the Cold War, that is the end of the Second World War and attack on Japan and what was the basis for the division of the world into two rival blocs, that is the US and the USSR, that led to the Cold War between the two. In the next part of this chapter, we will discuss about the Cuban Missile Crisis in detail. Till then, you can enjoy reading this part of the chapter. Thank you.